What you eating?
Granola.
Do you like granola?
Yeah.
Is it yummy?
Yeah.
Okay, eat it up. All right, here to show you one of our family's favorite things, which is granola. And you probably love granola too, but have you ever thought about replacing all your cold cereal with granola? That's what we do. Instead of having cold cereal, we can pull out the granola. It's like a cold cereal, just add milk. It's fabulous, and it's so easy. Look, all we have is oats, nuts, coconut, honey, cinnamon, and salt. And you can add whatever you want to this basic recipe. This is just like your foundation, and then you can add whatever you want, like flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds. You can do craisins, raisins, all kinds of options. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is, and how you can include your kids in making your granola. And for a big family, we have to make a lot. So that's why I have this big bowl full and this big bowl full. Both of them are filled with 16 cups of oats, and we're gonna just be making these at the same time so we can get a whole bunch made. It'll last us at least a couple weeks. So what I used to do is measure the nuts, and I'm giving you the recipe below. What I do now is I just fill this full 3 times with almonds, and that's as much almonds for one batch, and then 3 times, and that's the almonds for that batch. And then I do the same thing with pecans. So we're gonna do that real quick. You do not have to have one of these to do your nuts. I used to do it the old-fashioned way and just chop them on a cutting board. Yeah, these ones are super loud, so you gotta plug your ears. Nope, some more. You can just use one kind of nut if you want. I just like having both the almonds and the pecans. Whoa, be careful. And I'm gonna try and pour this so that you can see kind of about the consistency of how I like my nuts, but you can do it however you want. Usually I just count to like 13 or 14, right around there. And that's how long I wanna do it for my almonds. Now, pecans. When we do pecans, we only hold the button down for about 4 seconds, because they chop up a lot faster. Well, now we're gonna put it over here. Next is the coconut. And I usually love this step because it's usually just pour right in. I really like to get a 50-pound bag of coconut from Azure Standard, but they keep being out of stock. So right now we are using the organic unsweetened coconut flakes from Great Value. Okay, next we're gonna do the cinnamon and the salt. I like to do the honey very last so that we can mix up all the dry ingredients really well before we start sticking the sticky stuff in. Tablespoon of cinnamon. This is another way I actually like to do cooking with kids, is let them hold the spoon over the bowl while I pour into the spoon. Now for today, I am going to add both chia seed and flaxseed. And the flaxseed needs to be ground up, which is another one of my kids' favorite parts. So I just use a coffee grinder for this. And I have both the golden flaxseed and also the brown organic flaxseed. And we're getting low on the golden, so we'll put golden in one bowl and the dark in the other bowl. Okay, I just go till I don't hear any more little clicky sounds in there. Pull up the lid, dump it in. I used to just store my flax seeds down in my storage room until I found out that they can go rancid because they do have a lot of fats in them. So I store them in my refrigerator now. Chia seeds. One great thing about the flaxseed and the chia seeds is that when you put milk in it, it starts to kind of absorb that moisture and it comes a little more thick instead of just runny. Now, I should have turned the oven on, but I forgot, so I'm gonna get that going right now while we stir everything up. So a lot of times I will, if I can, not yet, use quick oats for the granola because they're not really getting cooked, and my kids are eating it kind of like a cold cereal, and so I want it broken down just a little bit more. But I've done it all different ways, and you know what? It does change the flavor if you do regular rolled oats compared to the quick oats. So play around with it. Try half and half. Half and half is actually my favorite, but I'm just doing all quick oats this time. I also used to measure my honey, but I kind of figured out that about half of one of these things of honey was as much as I needed for a double batch. So I just get a whole thing, pour half in one, half in the other. And it's really helpful to have somebody else pour while you stir. This does really work my arms because I've got so much in here, but I have learned to be grateful for things that work my arms because, hey, if you're gonna go to the gym and work on your arm muscles, you might as well be doing arm workouts in your normal day-to-day life, right? And the first time I really experienced that was I was doing my hair and my curling iron was so heavy, and I was like, man, I need a curling iron that's not so heavy. This is really working my arms. And then I thought, wait, I want to be working my arms. I do not want a curling iron that's lighter. So I find that doing stuff in the kitchen, I am grateful for whatever muscles it gets me to work. I like to just go through it and find the big pieces and kind of chop them up, and then they start to stick to the other stuff that's more dry. I want to show you the difference between no honey and having the honey. This is how I know that it's all stirred in and how I want it to, because it kind of gets this little wet glazy look all over it. I'll show you up close. I really like chunky granola, and so if I'm stirring this and I don't see chunks, then I know I'm not going to get chunks after it's cooked. So if you want more chunks, you put more honey in. The less honey, then the more crumbly it will be. When I am making granola, I use absolutely every cake pan or cookie sheet with sides that I have in my kitchen. So for my first batch, I'm gonna use these 2 cookie sheets and this pan. My second batch, I'll be using 4 cake pans. Grease your pans. Now pouring it in. Here's that one. Okay, and this one. Now maybe you're cooking for a large family and maybe you're not. If you're cooking for a smaller family and you just do 1 batch, of course this was 4 times the batch, but you can make this a little bit thinner on your cake pans or your cookie sheets, and if it's thinner, it is more likely to get crispy and make chunks for you. Time to bake at 350 for 15 minutes. I like to pour this bowl into my bowl that had the honey because it's so easy to clean a bowl that just is kind of dusty. So I go ahead and pour this in and then mix the honey again in the bigger bowl. Move it around, move it around. I mix this bowl up while the other one's baking. When it just has that lightly toasted brown across the top, that's when it is perfect. We can't have it now because it needs to sit and cool. This is really important if you want chunky granola. It has to sit and cool before you put it in the containers. So we were mixing up the other ones while these were cooking. So these came out, time to put these other ones in. Isn't it great to see little kids enjoying healthy baking? If you cook for big families, you know exactly what I'm doing here, but all of my granola will fit in these containers and they seal pretty good. It's gonna stay good for at least a month. Ours usually doesn't make it that long, but I would guess it would stay good for at least 2 months if you ate yours a little bit slower. One thing that's important as you put the granola in the container is that you try and rustle it as little as possible. I guess if you like chunks, which I like chunks. If you go and you're just scooping, you're gonna just turn it into crumbles. As you can see, my family's already been enjoying some of our granola here. So I like to take my spatula and I scoop it up. See how that's kind of staying together? And I just put it in here like this. And I scoop and put in and scoop and put in, and it's just gonna keep more chunks and whole pieces in there for me. When you get down to the bottom, you got a lot of chunks here. Not as easy to scoop up a whole thing of it, so I am just going to pour these into the bucket. Now, this I would say not only is one of my favorite foods, it's also kind of my comfort food. So once we filled up our containers, we usually just stick a measuring cup. I really like to keep about a 2/3 cup. Looks my kids are grabbing other cups, but I like to keep a 2/3 cup measure in here because it's a perfect amount for a bowl of cereal for kids.